Welcome, 5th grade. So this is the last podcast of Chapter 1, Lesson 3. So here we go. All right, in terms of notes for this lesson, what I would like you to do is as follow. At the top of your paper, just write major resources. Okay. And then underneath that, we're going to quantify it into Middle America. Okay, and then we have the Caribbean. So we're going to look at each of the three regions of Latin America, and then talk about their resources. So underneath each one of these is where you will put your bullet points. Okay. This is not exactly how many there are. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. But that's kind of what your notes should style. Again, you can do your notes anyways. This would probably help keep them organized the most and best. All right, so resources and land use for Latin America. So in Middle America, we're going to really talk about the riches of land and sea. Most of the areas use both land and sea for their riches, but for the most part, Middle America does it the best. All right. So in Middle America, so we're talking again about Mexico and Central America, there are lots of minerals there in the mountains, all right, such as silver, gold, copper, coal, iron ore. There's also deposits of oil and natural gases. Okay. And then I also have lots of trees there. They have great soil for farming, fishing, again using the water. All right. And then also we talked about that water for hydroelectricity before. Okay. In the Caribbean, they're more about plantations, growing crops, all right? So they're going to have large farms, which are plantations of sugarcane, coffee, beans, cocoa, citrus fruit, example, et cetera, all right? There are some minerals found in the Caribbean islands, but again, not very many, not very much, if at all. So they're, again, they rely more heavily on the single crop or two for their economy. All right. So as you see in South America, they rely heavily on minerals and natural resources. So example of some of the minerals that they mine are gold, copper, tin, bauxite, iron ore, oil can also be put into there, which is actually a natural resource. Forests, fish, coffee, wheat, sugarcane. All right, it's all there for you. But again, it's this idea of using the natural resources and the land to create their economies. All right, so here's a map of the various resources that can be found in Latin America. So if we look up here in Middle America, as we talked about, again, Middle America is Mexico down through. My pen's slow through here. Notice here in the mountain regions are where a lot of these minerals are located and found. Okay. All right, and then the oil is found actually closer and more relevant near the ocean. All right, that's usually where you find oil deposits. All right, so here's some more oil deposits in Latin America. All right, so on and so forth. So again, this map is to help you visualize where exactly the various minerals and natural resources are found within Middle America, the Caribbean, and South America. All right, so what does this all mean for the economies of Latin America? Well, some problems arise. First and foremost is if your economy is a one-resource economy. Basically, what a one-resource economy is that it depends on a single crop or product for the economy to make money. So, in theory, it's a good idea because you only really have to worry about issues over one product, but at the same time, you have issues over one product. So what happens is if there's something that goes wrong with the market or the crop or something like that, your economy is going to lose out on lots of money. Okay, so Latin America had to move from this idea of a one resource economy to being able to get into the world economy and the world market. So, an example of this would be oil. Oil is needed all across the world. All right, and in the mid 80s, Mexico and Venezuela get into the big oil boom. All right, because in the 70s there's an oil shortage, more oil wells are found, so there's this huge boom in the 80s. Well, as a result of this, because there's more product now, the price of the product is going to go down, and this ended up hurting Mexico and Venezuela's economies greatly. And this just goes on to show the same thing can happen with fruits and vegetables, as in what many Latin American countries grow. And so as the prices, as the production got higher, the prices of the products fell, negatively impacting the economies of these Latin American countries. Okay. Some other factors are weather. All right. So if you're solely dependent upon one crop or two crops to make a living, if you have a hurricane or there's a drought or there's a disease, that's going to negatively impact your economy as well. With fishing, if the water temperature rises, like when El Nino comes through, then fish are going to move to different areas, and we don't know where fish go because we haven't charted their migration patterns. But all these types of things will lead to having a crippled economy. All right, and then so Latin America decides that they need to diversify. We can't just be a single crop or two crop economy, or just mine for minerals, a mineral or two. We need to bring factories in and make them, and diversify our economy more. Okay. So that does it for this lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in class, and I will see you guys the next class.